The lawyer of a New York-based real estate tycoon who has accused top Chinese officials of corruption.
Why do you think the government's so afraid of you?
Why are you in the United States? What happened when you were in China and why did you leave?
What would you do if you were a high-profile billionaire whose name suddenly appeared as part of a massive scandal? Would you find a way to clean your name? Would you own up to your mistakes? Or would you flee from the country and hide someplace else once the authorities come knocking at your door? Money can make you do crazy things. It's one of the world's greatest enablers, and today I'm going to be talking to you about one such person who was able to use his wealth and social status to evade the letter of the law. Our man today is Miles Kwok, also known as Gu Wengui, also known as Gu Haiyun, and also known as Miles Gu. Regardless of what name he's known by, our guy has been accused of some pretty serious stuff. So sit back and relax as I tell you all about Miles Kwok and what he's done to earn himself quite the reputation in China. This is Business Explained. To learn more about all things money, get educated about how to do business, become business savvy, and enjoy more videos like these, subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell, and may you be granted with many sweet returns. So let's start off with the basics. We're going to be talking about Miles Kwok and his seedy proceedings, but in order to get a fuller picture of who he really is, let's dive into his background. His date of birth is actually a bit confusing. According to sources, Miles Kwok was born on the 5th of October 1968, but according to Miles Kwok himself, he was born on the 10th of May 1970. Now I'm not entirely sure which one of these dates is the correct date, but during the time I made this video, it would be safe to say he's already in his early 50s. He was born in Shen County, in Shandong, China, and he is the 7th child out of 8 children in the family. He's a prominent and influential billionaire who made his fortune doing business in China, beginning his business career in Exile. He later on moved to Beijing, and he secured various construction deals during the famed 2008 Beijing Olympics. Probably his most famous and most lucrative assets during that time was a Pangu Plaza, which was a residential building modeled in the shape of the Olympic torch and built before the 2008 Games. Later on, Miles Kwok became a political activist, and the Beijing Senate holdings fell under his control. At the peak of his career, he was a member of China's elite and was one of the richest men in the country, placing 73rd on the list of the richest people in China. However, there were allegations that Miles Kwok did not earn his prominence, influence, and money through merit, grit, and hard work alone. Chinese authorities began investigating him after he was accused of corruption and other bad deeds, which prompted him to flee to the United States in 2014. What else was he accused of? Well, it's a pretty long list. He was going to be arrested for crimes like bribery, kidnapping, fraud, sexual assault, rape, and money laundering. Yikes. However, those are not just why we're talking about him today. In 2015, he became famous after a scathing, lengthy exposé was written on him by the Chinese media group Cakesen, which is famous for its investigative journalism. The lengthy investigative report contained a lot of details on how Miles Kwok did his business tactics, his connections with politicians and influential personalities, and much more. Its founder and publisher, Hu Shuli, was accused by Miles Kwok of defaming him and retaliated by claiming that Hu Shuli got caught up in a love affair with a business rival. To the public eye, Kwok has been believed to have been flying back and forth between the United States and parts of Europe since he left China. In 2017, he opened his own Twitter account and used it to criticize Chinese personalities. One of the people he ranted about the most was He Jintao, the son of the former Central Commission of Discipline Inspection Secretary He Guocheng. When General Secretary Xi Jinping launched a campaign and implemented measures to eradicate corruption within the region, a lot of the officials that Miles Kwok allegedly had close ties to were investigated. The list of people included Ma Jian, the former deputy director of Chinese National Security Bureau, and Zhang Yu, the former political and legal affairs secretary of Hebei. Kwok has been known to show support for General Secretary Xi Jinping, but he criticized the campaign to be something like a political witch hunt. Since the start of 2017, Kwok has placed himself in exile in New York City. There he resides in a lush apartment which he had purchased for $67.5 million in 2015. His apartment is located on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, overlooking the beautiful Central Park. From his luxury apartment, he continued to shine a light on the corruption in Chinese politics. Over the years, his Twitter account would get suspended, which he blamed the Chinese Communist Party for. According to him, his life's purpose is to save China, which I guess was what was in his mind when he released confidential and controversial documents.
非常清楚的是，因为中国在过去的100年没有任何一个个人挑战过这个国家的权利。
On the 5th of October 2017, Miles Kwok released a document of the Chinese government which, allegedly, was confidential and brought to light China's plan of secretly dispatching police officers across the United States. A few months later, on January 2, 2018, the Washington Free Beacon released a similar document that detailed China's decision to cooperate and communicate with North Korea in order to discuss nuclear. As you might imagine, these published documents gained attention from a whole host of media arms, and the United States Department of State itself claimed to be keeping a close eye on the whole debacle. These were matters of national and international security and caused a hubbub when they were released. In response to this, the Zhongping Municipal Security Bureau held a press conference on April 23, 2018 in order to debunk and deny the allegations Miles Kwok had made. This is where the plot thickened. According to the Bureau, Kwok had gotten twin brothers Chen Xiu and Chen Xiheng to create and falsify more than 30 national-level official documents which became the main sources for his online revelations. The documents that were forged were supposedly issued by the CPC Central Committee and the State's Council. According to the Bureau, Miles Kwok had publicly announced that if anyone could bring him the documents that he needed about the Chinese government, he would offer them a reward and pay them. Big time. Now, Chen Xiu and Chen Xiheng probably saw this as a lucrative venture, which is why they got into the whole thing. Apparently, the twins had communicated to Kwok under the fake name Sao Guoming, and they began working together by August 2017. A hefty salary of $4,000 each month would be paid to them to work for him full-time. All transportation costs would also be shouldered by Kwok, and even set up a fund worth $50 million, which was meant for Chen Xiu's use. Chen Xiu had even met Miles Kwok in person 4 times in visits to the United States. The twins had worked with Miles Kwok to fabricate and falsify numerous national-level documents that he could publicize and spread out to bring ire upon the Chinese national government. Apart from their claims of China's cooperation with North Korea and their claims of China secretly sending over policemen to the United States on field duty, Kwok and the twins also falsified information about public officials. They claimed that the officials had illicit affairs, illegitimate children, offshore bank accounts, and all sorts of other statements meant to discredit them and besmirch their reputation. Interpol had even issued for Kwok's arrest under China's request. On the 18th of February 2018, the Chongqing police arrested both Chen Xiu and Chen Xiheng, who had been hiding out in Guangdong and Hunan, respectively. The two confessed to their crimes. Police also uncovered a huge number of other forgeries in the items they confiscated from the twins, this time covering diplomacy, national defense, and finance. If any of these documents got out, they would surely cause more issues and stir up more animosity. Go positioned himself as a former insider and states that his actions were for the good of China. He claimed that he was a whistleblower, but his statements could neither be confirmed nor denied. On March 10, 2020, Miles Kwok relisted his plush New York apartment after failing to get buyers over the last few years. It is selling for $55 million, 36% less than what he originally asked for. This is what Fang Block, writer for Mansion Global, had to say about Kwok's piece of prime property. Mr. Go, who could not immediately be reached for comment, often used his home to livestream about the political power struggle, corruption, and other so-called top secrets in China, including a recent post alleging that coronavirus was spread by the Chinese military. Currently, one of China's most wanted men still resides in America.
I love Chinese, I love my country as China, but I hate CCP. I want to take them down.
Understood.
I want to take this regime down.
What are your thoughts on Miles Kwok? Do you think he should go back home and turn himself in? Could he be telling the truth? Let me know what you think and let's talk about it in the comment section below. I'll be responding to all of you who comment within the first hour of me posting this video. If this video intrigued you, you should definitely check out my other video, Black Wall Street Massacre. The 19th of June 2020 was a day that the United States President Donald Trump scheduled his very first public campaign event after March 2020. This sparked outrage across the United States, particularly from the black leaders and members of the black community. The rally was scheduled to be held in Tulsa, no less, which seemed to fan the flames even more. Now, President Trump's campaign managers and staff insisted this was all a coincidence and scheduled the rally to happen on the 20th of June instead. Why did it cause outrage? What is the significance of the 19th of June? What happened in Tulsa? We're going to be talking about all that and more in that video. So stay tuned and stay educated.